Get them fired up and get them to the staging lanes, baby, because 8th Mile Apparel is now carrying Going Bracket Racing merch. Hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and much more can be yours today by visiting 8thmileapparel.com. We appreciate each and every one of you guys supporting the Going Bracket Racing YouTube and Facebook pages.
Holy Mikey Bloomfield, it's July 1st, 2025, episode 198 of the Going Bracket Racing Live podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you being here for all these episodes, all these years. I believe this is our 5th or 6th year doing this podcast. I know it's the 6th season, so it must be on the 6th now. We got to thank the people who have been here since the beginning for us, with us, providing this, mediocre podcast, I guess, at least to y'all for 100% for free. TSR Racing Products, Power Glides, Turbo 350s, Turbo 400, 727 transmissions, transitions, parts, accessories, any kind of rebuild you need. TSR Racing Products, go hit them up for everything you need. That's usually the cheapest prices for all those rebuild parts. You know who knows that right now? This guy. I can tell you that. BRG 3D printed parts. Anything you need, Brian Garrett will print that stuff up for you. Got any kind of custom things that you need for your race car? You know, if you got cars like, well, I guess everybody, you got any of those race car types, things aren't made to go in those cars, and Brian Garrett can use your dimensions and make you something that looks like it may or may not have been there from the factory in 1975 or whenever your car is. Hit him up. BRG 3D printed parts, Syntex printing out there in Temple, Texas. You need any of those stickers, you need any of those decals, you need anything for your business, promote yourself. Stickers, shirts, brochures, Syntex printing out there in Temple, Texas is your place. Driven racing oil, absolutely the best racing oil, hands down. Methanol will not dilute this stuff. You can still go tons of runs. You'd think you were running gas, but more than anything, you need to use that code GBR10. Get yourself 10% off that order. We're saving you money over here. And they don't sell just oil, George. Let me tell you, they sell all kinds of cleaning products. They sell rear end oil. They sell transmission fluid. They sell oil for the truck you tow with. But the Speed Clean, I'm telling you right now, you've let that trailer sit under those trees. I know you have. You've let that trailer sit under those trees. It's turning green. That Speed Clean will make it look as good as new. I can tell you right now, I've used it myself. I've done that myself. GBR10. Get you 10% off that order. Proform Parts, there's a post on our Facebook page right now. You need to follow the page. You need to like the page on Facebook because you'll see stuff like this. Because right now, Proform Parts is asking GBR, what do you guys want to give away this year? Free stuff, literally just for watching the show. All you got to do is comment sometimes. Sometimes we put a post up. Sometimes we say, hey, say this about GBR, and all of a sudden you're entered for free. You literally don't have to pay for anything. There's tons of people. Last year we gave away an alternator. Last year we gave away a starter. We give away those AN wrenches that everybody wants but never buys. And I'm telling you right now, they're great because I got a couple sets of them myself. Maybe you could be the next winner of those. We got all kinds of stuff out there in the Proform catalogs pretty much at our disposal right now. So tell us what you want us to give away, and we will try to make that happen with our people at Proform Parts. Visit proformparts.com. and look through the catalog, and maybe you could be the next winner on all that stuff. Crew Chief Pro software. George talks about it all the time, man. That's the only way he knows what to do. And let's see him go rounds out there, and he's over here cheating with his Crew Chief Pro software. If you want to be a cheater like George, get you some Crew Chief Pro software so you know what you're going to run next round. I bet you Mikey Bloomfield was using it. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. He likes to hit the brakes at the finish line. We know he's got some good brake pads on that car, but maybe even Crew Chief Pro could figure that out. We don't know. Gearhead Solutions, if you do need some brakes, because you're Mikey Bloomfield and hitting the brakes to the finish line, killing about 10, 20 mile an hour any given moment, Gearhead Solutions is your place to get a replacement part because you made 40 runs that weekend. Great customer service and access to over 1,000 vendors. Gearhead Solutions is your place to go. And last I heard, I think he's doing that full time now. So he's going to answer phone whenever it rings, and he's going to get that stuff to you. I want to say the longest I've ever had to wait on Gearhead is sending something from the other side of the country, and it got here in 48 hours. So if you order something on Thursday, you need it by Saturday so you can go racing, you'll probably have it. Fix that thing right in the first time run, get your second time run, and get up there. But what else we got going on here? Mid-State Dragway. Mid-State Dragway is our newest partner. Appreciate Vashon coming on board here with the Going Bracket Racing Live podcast. But more than anything, I appreciate Vashon putting on races that we all can actually afford as bracket racers. Mid-State Dragway, Havana, Illinois, July 25th through 22nd. No, that's backwards, guys. That's backwards. 25th through 27th. You can double enter all weekend, Twin Tens, Havana, Illinois. You'll see the flyer up here on the background. Go and visit their website. They pay back really well. No box bonus, round money, free 10K for people who are in the top 30, and then a couple wild cards get pulled to be able to run this 32-car shootout for $10,000 for free. I want to say last year he put on races to put people into the OG Million, which is basically down the street from Havana. And I don't know. As Brad Gephardt says, what more do you want, Casey? I don't know what more we can do for these people. Have people show up out there, go racing, great place to go. They're putting more and more rocks and asphalt down. Pretty soon, that whole place is going to be paved, and you're going to be able to park on asphalt, even with, I don't know, you could be a guy like me. Every once in a while, show up with an open trailer, show up with an old Nova, and that thing might even be on the asphalt. And at the same time, you'll see back here, support GBR by buying GBR merch. You get that at 8thmileapparel.com. Get your hats, your T-shirts, your hoodies. George, I extended that a little bit, but I felt like I needed to this week.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. You know what I mean? I actually threw up the Mid-State flyer while you were talking about it. You just flowing, Casey. I got Brian Cook over here. He did tell you to take a breath, though. He said, Casey, take a breath, man.
Hey.
Nah, keep it up, Casey. Just like the micro machines. No, I don't remember.
I needed to tell Brian Cook to go up there to the Havana Dragway. He's liable to win that whole deal.
Hey, tell me about it, right?
He's welcome. Tell him he's welcome.
Did he used to have a dragster?
They got 1,000 of them. They got everything. They got Camaros. They got dragsters. They got all kinds of stuff up there. But I can tell you right now, it's never surprising to see one of those Cooks in the winter circle. That's for sure.
JP Miller in here talking about Mr. 449 off the trailer in the heat. I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about that here probably first up, as we got a lot to talk about here today. But since we've already talked about one race at the Mid-State Dragway, guys, don't forget, make sure if you're in the area, I would say within 4 hours is a really good shot for anybody. Honestly, you can come further than that for $500 to run all weekend. But if not, let's talk about what's going on in the Buckeye State. My boy CP Promotions over there is putting on that Buckeye Bracket Shootout August 1st through the 3rd, 2025. Talking 10K off the top, 10K Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're talking $5,000 off the bottom Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we're also talking $2,500. All of the junior dragsters are off the bottom, but that's the junior dragster purse. Look at those numbers, guys. $400 to enter off the top, $300 to enter off the bottom, and $300 to enter for those junior dragsters to run for $2,500 Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So wherever you are, either area is going to have you pretty well locked up pretty good. If you're traveling to Buckeye and you're coming back down to Mid-State, hey, look, it's the next weekend afterwards. So guess what? Or vice versa, I should say. Go to Mid-State first, then travel up to Buckeye, and you're going to run for tens. At a really good number. Both races are excellent to be entered in. So, Casey, man, but getting back to what JP said, man, I figured we might as well start there. You had the Chevelle out, the GBR Top Sportsman Chevelle out, running some 450 index, and JP already let the cat out the bag. 449 at a pretty hot track. Let's talk about it, Casey.
Well, it was hot, that's for sure. Me and JP will tell you that. Once it rained, everybody got in a mad scramble because it was getting ready to rain. And we all said, man, it's getting ready to rain. I looked out there and I saw a curtain of rain, and then the sky turned black. And I said, I'm putting the 4-wheeler in too, because I'm not gonna unload everything and then put everything back in the trailer once this rain stops.
Man, that's not what you said, Casey. You probably said, "Oh, 4-letter explicit."
Yeah, I said, let's get it in. Let's get it in. I said, it's getting ready to rain. Let's go. So we loaded everything up, and after that, I told JP, I said, we got everything loaded up. He's over here moving around grills and stuff, getting soaked. I said, hey, you need some help? I'm just trying to move this around so I can do some cooking because we're going to be here a while.
Yeah. I
said, all right then. So I rolled the window back up, sat in the truck because it was hot, man. It was 100 degrees outside. I tell you what, those canopies, I've never had one of them before, never actually used one at the racetrack before. Those things are lifesavers. And I'm talking about just keeping it off the roof of the car, keeping the sun off the roof of the car, being able to work under it and stuff like that. I need to get one of them big ones like JP has. His is about twice as deep as mine. Right. And I need to get one of those a little bit bigger. But yeah, anyway, hot, 150 degree track temperature, I think, in the first shakedown. As we all know, anybody who watches this show knows I've been going through the woes, the fast car blues, and finding weak links and figuring it out, man. Like, I don't have the money to just pay somebody to do stuff for me. That's the same way. The reason that I have what I have partially is because of my old man building stuff for me. Built me a awesome car. I mean, Pro Mod, literally a Pro Mod car. All I got to do is put a floater rear in it, Pro Mod certified. So that's number one. But number two, growing up on a farm, you learn if you want to do stuff at this level, you better learn to do it yourself because that's the only way that you can afford it. And at least people like me. And long story short, I've been going through a lot of transmission issues, been having problem after problem. Fixing stuff, breaking stuff, fixing stuff, breaking stuff. Well, right now, I think I finally got it fixed. I told JP, I said, if this thing doesn't work now, then I guess I got to get me a Turbo 400 or something. That's all I can think of. I went out there and, like I said, knocked a bunch of timing out of it, tried to slow it down, 449 with the 6 off the trailer, 163 mile an hour, which is the fastest I've ever been in the 8th mile period. So I was very happy with that. I ran next to the Orange Studebaker, who's been number one qualifier several times and won a couple races, I believe. And I said, well, I crossed in front of him, so I know I at least went 50-something. And he said, man, mine felt lazy out there. And I said, well, I hope that you at least run 50-something because that's going to make me feel a whole lot better. And Laura came down there, my wife, and she said, it went 49. And I said, finally, we're back to where we started.
We're on something, Yep. Yeah. So how did it feel, man? Because you've already kind of alluded to it a little bit, man. To be able to go out there and get the hot rod down the racetrack. I saw and it was me who posted it to GBR, Going Bracket Race. You guys follow in there, the kind of the qualifying sheet, and I see old Casey on there at 454. Now I didn't know he'd run 449 already, but how did it feel, Casey? Because there has to be a sense of achievement. Fixing it yourself, not having to send it off, ship it off, somebody else tear it down, to ship it back to you, to put it back in, to find out it wasn't done right, to whatever the case might be. How did it feel to climb over that ladder by yourself and then see that number jump up on the board? Not to mention, I know in your head you were saying a few things because I know you were index racing. You already mentioned the timing was kicked out of that bad boy. Let us also know what else you thought about that pass.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know if I'm getting used to it or if just there's a big difference between, what I'm 60 in with the timing knocked out versus what I'm 60 and otherwise. I'm talking to TJ Pruitt over here at Drag Coverage. Me and him text, at this point, just about every day, talking about all kinds of whatnot with boosted cars and just we're both real big bracket racers, and then we're both like halfway trying to be like, man, I kind of want to just go really fast. and TJ's got 6 cars probably at this point, and but we have very similar stuff. We're both in the same boat of we aren't 481X guys. We're not, you know, we don't do that. We're like the redneck version of just trying to make stuff happen type thing and make it happen with big block Chevys and 540s and 23 degree, you know, 24 degree stuff, just basic, you know, like we don't even have angle heads or anything. Like it's just normal stuff. And anyway, I don't know. I get excited about all that stuff, man, because I feel like if you can figure out how to have fun with the car versus without winning the race, you know, I mean, I felt like I won the race because I've gone through so many trials and tribulations with that car ever since I got it. It's just either I go out here and it shakes or I go out here and do that. I mean, it's a learning experience, man. I mean, that car, the mile an hour figured up the car has 1,700 horsepower when it ran 163. It's all basic stuff, man. This is normal stuff. Like the blower is expensive. If you didn't build the car yourself, obviously it would be expensive. But ultimately, this is the everyman engine. This is essentially an NA motor with less compression that any dragster out there right now, I guarantee you go out to any big money bracket race, and the motor I have is just a lower compression version of any 460 dragster motor that's out there right now. Anybody going out there whomping the throttle on you, going about 468, 465, that's what I have with less compression. It's a normal deal. The blower, that's expensive. You just get lesser compression pistons, and I mean, dragsters, 390s, door cars, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'd have to really lean on it, but I'm pretty sure I'd go 170 mile an hour in the 8th mile with my door car. And that thing's not extremely light. JP's car's lighter than mine. My car is 2550 with me in it. You know, like it's not extremely light like everybody thinks, but like that's fiberglass body still. It's not a carbon body and all that stuff. It's not full carbon interior. It's mostly steel panel interior because Dad built the car to be able to hold up. Whenever my son is driving that car, it's going to be the same as what it used to be. That carbon stuff's cool and everything, and it has carbon tubs and whatnot in it. But I mean, it has like everything is steel. The plate on the bottom steel. The transmission tunnel, that all is like firewall. I mean, I believe that's a requirement actually for boosted cars. But the fact of the matter is, if that car was a old Pro Mod car or something, or built to be a Pro Mod car, it'd probably be 300 pounds lighter than what it is. It can go even faster. Right. But that little F1X, they can do a lot more than people think they can.
Yeah. Nova fans over here saying 449, tell me more. Well, I'll tell you more. It's been faster than that. If you didn't know it, Nova fan, it's definitely been faster than that. But when you're running 450 index, you got to be somewhere close to that 450 number, or you're wasting your time, right? But Casey, man, this is an interesting show for us today because we got some, I would call it a shocking post is what I seen over the weekend, Casey. And that's why it's named not 1, not 2, but 3. Talk to me, man, and everybody in the chat, be ready for this because this hasn't happened very many times that I can really think of in the past. Mikey Bloomfield, Mr. No Split himself, took down the whole weekend in Illinois. Was that Byron's racetrack, Casey?
Byron Dragway, yep.
Took down all.
He won the warm-up 10K, and then won the first 40, and then won the second 40. Mm-hmm. And then the third 40, you know, this no-name guy won that, Troy Williams Jr.
Oh, wow. So I missed an event. See, I thought he swept the whole weekend, but it doesn't matter. He basically did. There's three checks that he's taking home, 3 of them. How does that work? Especially, you just mentioned Troy Williams Jr. is in the building. So we're not talking just a complete list of not good racers. Mikey Bloomfield. Oh,
yeah, dude.
A terror.
Firecracker Nationals, I believe, is what it's called, and that's one of the biggest races in Illinois, period. I believe that's in Illinois, but the Midwest. Unbelievable performance by Mike Bloomfield. I don't know who's happier because he wasn't driving his own car. He was driving Scott Taylor's car. So I don't know who's happier, the car owner, because that was a brand new Folk race car. And I would say it's probably, if it's not all the way paid off, it's pretty close to being paid for now. So that was a very good investment by calling Mikey Bloomfield, letting him drive it, or him calling you or whatever. Good on everybody's part. I assume Nick Folk was on the starting line. He said Mikey Bloomfield does it again, third time. And the thing is, it wasn't even, he won one, skipped one, won the next one, something like that. Like, to win, just win and win and win every single day. Like, that just doesn't happen on the top bulb. I mean, it has happened before. I've made a post and said, has anyone done this before? Big John LaBouse has done it before, at a fling, I believe.
Fling, yeah.
Hunter Patton, probably the year that he just dominated everything. They said they thought he had done it. Obviously, Nick Hastings has swept a weekend in foot brake. But man, that's just crazy to just go on that type of a roll. I mean, if anybody needs some driven racing oil and use that code GBR10, it's Mike Bloomfield right now. I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. And like you said, and just to shed a little bit more light on it, it's very hard to do off the top bulb. I think it's very hard to do in the sport of drag racing, period. To be able to just go out, park it in the winner's circle, and I feel like it was 3 races in a row. Did Troy Williams sneak in and win the last race?
Yep. Or he finally got an opportunity the last race.
That's what I thought, man. So that's saying a lot right there, dude. And it is going to segue us into another portion of GBR here in the future. So we got some pretty good ideas kind of brewing between Casey and ours brain, in the airwaves of our cell phones by way of good friend of ours over at Team 14 Motorsports. We're going to get off into that here in a little bit, Casey. But yeah, to go out and dominate that way. Everybody knows Mikey Bloomfield's a pretty tricky finish line racer. Definitely always going to be solid up front. You don't know if the guy's holding 10 or if he's holding 20 half the time. Casey, what do you think about that?
Well, everybody, whoever didn't know, I know Scotty Richardson said, one time Scotty Richardson, the year before he died, he said he thought Mike Bloomfield Jr. was way better if he would just learn not to hold so much. He said that if he didn't hold so much, he would win a ton of races. And I would be very interested to know how much he was holding in that race, because that would just be crazy if all of a sudden that race he was dialing to go dead on or relatively close, because anymore dialing to go dead on means like holding 1 or 2 anymore. But I would just be interested to know that. And I don't think Bloomfield would probably tell you the truth if you were asking him if he was holding or not anyway. You'd have to see the time slips, which I looked, and I don't think that show was that race was televised.
Right.
Because I was looking for results to try to figure that out. But it would be interesting to know that.
Right. That's another thing, too. And this is just me, of course, being in the live streaming game, but a race of that magnitude and with the quality of racers, I should say, and that's probably not even the right word, but most of the crowd is going to be of big money bracket racing descent, for lack of better terms there. But wondering why that wasn't one that was on the live wave so we could get a look at it. But here nor there, I don't think it's ever been streamed, and this race has been going on for quite a while, if I'm not wrong. So, but yeah, Casey, to go that many rounds in a day, like I wonder how many passes he actually made in the weekend. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, bare minimum, Mike Bloomfield was doubled for sure.
Yep.
So obviously he had to win the race. So you figure even if it's only a 7-round race, that's 7, 14, 21 right there just to win them. And obviously he would be doubled, and obviously there's a buyback round, and obviously there's a time run. I mean, I can't imagine him making less than 40 just in the days he won. And then he's still, hard to say. I mean, after you win $90,000 worth of big checks in 3 days in a row, he might have just checked out and said, I'm just done. Or something,
I quit. But, and honestly, the way you just said it, there's 7 rounds easy,
Yeah.
So either way you look at it, he's definitely going to be near that 50 laps number in my opinion
Yeah.
here. Probably a little higher than that. But hey man, that'll way to do it. That's basically all we're getting out here on Going Bracket Racing. Not one, not two, not three episodes of Mikey Bloomfield in the doggone winner circle, man. So big time shout out, guys, to everybody involved with the putting on that race number one. But special shout out to Bloomfield for basically being untouchable all weekend.
Yeah. Running through them.
Running
to say the least.
Yep. Hang in there, guys. We're going to get a couple words to the marketing partners, and we'll be back. Make sure you hit that like, that subscribe, wherever you're watching. If you're listening in the airwaves, you can do it as well. Thanks for being part of the GBR community. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Innovation never sleeps at Proform, and we're making our popular Black Race Series carburetors even better by adding new features that will set them apart from the competition. Some of the newest features include a newly designed main body with contoured Venturas for better airflow and a new inside and outside two-step down leg boosters for increased atomization and better throttle response. Also, newly designed fuel bowls with increased internal baffling for better fuel control and the lower fuel ramp for reduced turbulence. There are also some new upgrades to point out. The fuel bowls now both include nitrofill floats, and the throttle base plate now has slabbed shafts for better airflow. These new features, combined with the fully adjustable high-flow main body with screw-in air bleeds, billet metering blocks, high-performance billet throttle base plate, and aluminum fuel bowls with sight glass windows, makes for a great street strip carburetor that packs a punch.
BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts are able to provide you with whatever you desire to enhance your drag racing operation. Items like safety belt magnets, nitrous bottle holders, and even quick release delay box mounts are able to be obtained from BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts. Have a look at top-selling items such as helmet hooks and steering wheel hooks, which are proven to make it easier to maneuver throughout your race car. You can contact BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts at telephone number 765-729-1177. All right. Welcome back in. Going Bracket Racing fans, followers, subscribers, whatever you want to call yourselves. I call you part of the community, and we can't do it without you. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hitting that like, subscribe button. Can't be done without our partners, man. The Crew Chief Pros, the Syntax Printings, the Ken Jones Performance, TSR Racing Products, Driven Racing Oil, Proform Parts, BRG Motorsports, 3D printed parts, Mid-State Dragway coming in tough, 8th Mile Apparel, get that GBR merch, Gearhead Solutions, Team 14 Motorsports. You guys make it happen for us. We can't thank you enough. Make sure to use code GBR10 when you're ordering those Driven products. We can't thank you enough for that, Driven. And one thing I wanted to point out to you guys, we got a lot of followers and a lot of likes on that Facebook page and a lot of invites that hadn't actually been answered. Make sure to hit that invite button and accept that to become a follower of Going Bracket Racing. It'll do a lot to help us stay in the algorithm, to keep our shows out front of those who want to see it. I know I get a lot of texts and messages, hey man, we didn't even get an alert that you were live. And chances are you might not have hit that follow button or that subscribe button on YouTube. So just wanted to throw out a few pointers there and say thank you in advance for making sure you've clicked that button. So as we move forward, Casey and I, by way of a good friend of ours, Mr. Kevin Little over at Team 14 Motorsports, have received a really good idea from the GBR community, and that's what we're going to say about it. You know what I mean? And so with that said, let's use our ability to reach out to you guys, GBR community, Going Bracket Racing community, to figure out what would be, drum roll please. You might have heard it, you might not have, but what are we going to pick as we come up with the Going Bracket Racing Triple Crown Award? It is going to be presented by Going Bracket Racing, by Going Bracket Racing community followers and nominees, nominators, whatever you want to call yourselves, and somebody will eventually win something for being the Going Bracket Racing Triple Crown winner. Casey, let's talk about it, man. We teased it a little bit with a post today, this morning. on what we would do in order to make this award come to life, make it obtainable, and let's talk about it. Off the bat, we got to talk about the first race. Go ahead, Casey.
Oh yeah, man. We might as well just take it from the get-go. So we've been trying to figure out some sort of an award to give to our viewers. You know, we've been around for, we're getting ready to do, a couple weeks from now will be the 200th episode. You know, we've been doing this for a long time, and we've been trying to give back to everybody else. And I mean, it's not like it's going to be, you know, anything special. We try to do giveaways for parts from all of our sponsors. A lot of the deals we make are to try to give back to you guys that have been helping us make this show bigger and bigger over the years. We want to give an award to people that just shows who was the best that year. And we've been going back and forth today trying to figure out how would we even determine that. And we were thinking, you know, winning the biggest 3 races, but we want it to be something, again, like George said, that's obtainable, something that you don't have to travel to all these events to do. We're wanting to get a trophy made, and this is going to be something that's given out every year, guys. It's going to be something that you're going to want to put on your mantle next to all your stuff maybe in between those Wallies one day. You never know. But, you know, ultimately, George and I were talking, and we're like, man, the ultimate, we're going to have probably 2 tiers. We're going to have the ultimate trophy, which is almost unattainable because it's going to have to be 3 specific races that we think would be, you know, deserving of the name Triple Crown. But we turned that into something else that we were like, man, we need to just do something that we can actually give out every year. That's something people would want to have, saying, I won this year. I was the best of the best this year. Let's just go through our thoughts, George. Let's talk about all the stuff we talked about earlier. We talked for about an hour on the phone earlier, just kind of going through how we would want to play it out. So let's start out with, to get the gold medal of all this deal. And I'd be surprised if it ever even happened, but we need a top tier deal. And that is going to involve winning 3 of the most prestigious races that are even available to run right now. So let's talk about what's it take to get the gold. What do you think are the 3 most prestigious races in bracket racing right now?
All right. And don't forget, guys, we're asking you too, so feel free. Chime in, chats, we're watching. I'm watching Facebook, Casey's watching YouTube. Chime in with what your thoughts are as well. But from the first post that we created, we know that the OG Million must be included in the Triple Crown Award. Whether we that second award, the GBR MVP, then so be it, right? Somebody who just kicked it off all year long, got nominated by the followers of the Going Bracket Racing community, and boom, you have a GBR MVP, something that is going to be a prestigious award that not everybody's going to be able to get. So, but man, for that Triple Crown, the first one we must have in the mix is the OG Million, Casey. But why? Why is that? It is because, not just because it's probably one of the longest running big money bracket racing events that there is. Man, it's the U.S. Nationals of bracket racing. There's not a person on here going bracket racing community in the community of bracket racing itself that will say that the OG Million should not be there. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, absolutely. And I would say that's a given that obviously that's going to be on my list as well. I would also say if it was still available, the Moroso 5-day for sure, which I'm pretty sure Troy Abercrombie mentioned something about that on Going Bracket Racing Facebook page a little bit earlier today. Unfortunately, it's not really around anymore. I know that actually the folks, the OG Million, they're trying to bring that back.
The mini OG
right
here in Gainesville. Yep.
Right. But it's not there yet, man. It's going to take a little while. That was a very prestigious race. And that was something that, to be honest with you, if the Moroso 5-day never stopped, that might be bigger than the OG Million right now to win that championship.
It's a fact. I don't think it'll ever be recreated,
Because
Casey.
the OG million is one day.
Right. And let's be honest, I don't think it'll ever be recreated. There's only one person who's come close to it. That's opinion based, right? And I think it's a Mockley down there
Right.
who's coming close to it again. But
Right.
SG was probably going to be the closest. I feel like it was during Christmas, Casey. You tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like there was a big amount of 500 or 100 Ks that was going on down there in Bradenton, and that
Right.
would have been a pretty close series to combat that Moroso five day. But maybe a Mockley is going to be on there. Right off the bat, I got Kevin Grider in here. He's saying the million, WFC, and dot. I believe that WFC is coming up this weekend anyway, right? So
Yeah.
there's going to have to be a caveat in this, is what I'm starting to hear. Because we can't just kick out all the foot breakers. You know what I mean? Most of our awards, if you win the OG, you can do it off the bottom. Somebody's already did it, right? But we gotta have an honorable mention. So maybe there might be 3 races and a foot brake race to throw in for that Triple Crown. What do you think?
Well, I want to actually go with what Kevin Grider's saying over there. Also, want to shout out Drag Racer 5266 because I haven't seen him over here on the YouTube before. So welcome in. If you're a new viewer, hit the subscribe button and you'll get this every single week for free. Yeah, man, I actually was going along the route of what Kevin Grider, the Sarge over there, was talking about, which is I feel like if you're going to be the king of everything, you need to win the best top bulb race there is, which is the OG million, biggest, baddest one. And you need to also be able to win the WFC, which is the biggest, baddest race there is on foot.
Yeah. No, so, and that makes it hard. It does, right? Because they're not completely cross-accumulative. There's not very many top bulbers who race on the bottom is what I'm getting at. And that's why I think there's got to be a hybrid in there somewhere. OG million, you got to win the OG million. That's all I got. It's got to be. If you're going to win the Triple Crown and compete with the top bulb of it all, you got to win that OG million. This is the hardest one, quote unquote, to win. What's number 2 race though, Casey? Because in my opinion, there's definitely 2 more. One could be by the same promoter, but I really think there's going to be one promoter that gets in there. We'll mention here in just a minute. Casey, what's number 2?
To be honest with you, I don't think there is a 1, 2, or 3. I think these are all equal.
Yeah, right.
All else constant.
Yep.
But I'm saying that, so this would actually be my 3rd on my list, like as far as to complete the Triple Crown. And I don't know which one it would be between, but it's either going to be the Spring Fling Vegas, the million, or it's going to be the Bristol 500. Because, to be honest with you, this is going to, it's after I say it, it's probably not going to be that crazy sounding. I think Bristol is going to get the vote on my part. And the reason being is because they've recently turned it into single entry. And I think that it is much harder to win a single entry race than it is to win a double entry race, even though there's way more prestige in, I don't know. I go back and forth on it because there's equal prestige. It says million behind it. It could one day pay $1 million. It gets bigger and bigger every single year. Cooper Chun just won a ton of money down there this year. It's in Vegas. But I just feel like single entry is the best of the best win single entry. The most consistent racers win single entry. You have no second chances. It's one shot, winner take all. Money doesn't buy it. If you entered the race, nobody has more chances than you do. Everybody's on the same playing field. And I just feel like any time that you see a single entry race, you see different winners. And there's a reason for that. There's one reason for that, and it's because everyone's on an equal playing field. It happens every single entry race. I'm not saying these guys who double and win all the time don't win those.
Right.
I'm saying they're deep, but not all of them. Not all of them. And that's the difference.
Right. And going back to what Bloomfield just did, I know he's double, but the thing that shocks me the most as I bring that subject back into this thing, and it's kind of how we got on the subject in the first place. He won 3 races in the doggone 1 weekend, for crying out loud. But
Right.
no hero passes. Nobody was trip zip 2 above just to make it look funny to him. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I think you're saying a lot there, Casey. One shot, you can only get one shot to win it.
Think about this. To win those 3 races in a row. So obviously, let's just say you're single. Let's say there's 300 entries, which there's probably more. Let's just say there's 300. 1 in 300. Your chances of winning are 0.3%. Your chances of winning 3 of them in a row, I mean, that's astronomical. That's like throwing down 2 perfect runs in the same event. You know, like, I mean, it's probably less odds than that, to be honest with you.
Right. As a matter of fact. So definitely, I really agree. And the chat's not really booming the way I was expecting it to quite yet, but your analysis on why Bristol over Vegas is very sound to me. 1 entry. I like the 1 entry format, period, as a whole. And I feel like that's just going to be tougher to do than being able to be doubled.
Right.
And let them say, because we're on the mountain and we got to, because there's too many entries here, that there's no buybacks in that race again. You know what I mean? That makes it even worse. So 1 shot, almost like the single shots that the Pennington Bros do. Love that race because you got 1 shot, man. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. Tom Worthington over here. I know this is right up your alley. You better turn on that Spring Fling Bristol this year, because that's what you're always harping on, is those buybacks. You hate those buybacks. They have buybacks. They do have buybacks, but it's single entry. So we're at least getting on the right track.
Yep.
And every once in a while they get that.
But I don't mind the buyback part of it. It's sometimes the double of it all, you know.
The double is what I just feel like the double is
it's necessary evil almost, right?
It's a live by the sword, die by the sword type thing, because the reason we can run for the amount of money that we can run for is because of double entries. That's the only reason.
That's right.
Bare minimum, you have 2 options. If you don't have double entries, entry fee doubles, buyback usually doubles, or the purse goes down by 2.
Well, I'll tell you what, that I do like doubles whenever I can do it for $500.
Right, absolutely. Mid-State Dragway, CP. Those are the only people you can do it with.
Yeah, man, I can do that, but. Whew.
But the
hey, what was Doug Foley saying last week? He hadn't even ran around. He was already like $4,000 in the hole. Like, yeah, I can't do that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It's hard, but that is the way of the world. If you're going to run for this kind of money, that's what you're going to deal with. But the Spring Fling, they're figuring it out. They're showing that, you know, we have enough people racing these days that maybe you can do single entry type stuff again. Maybe we can go back to that. You know, they've proved it, I want to say 2 years in a row. This would be the 3rd, I believe. And they're filling it up. So you never know. Maybe we'll get back to that one day. I know Tom Worthington, he'll be loving that. I don't know if he'll participate, but we'll see. Right. But either way, let's get into this, George. You know, we've talked about these big races.
Yeah, we got one more to name. Go ahead.
Another person that should be on the, you know, we're in between all these. So that's our Triple Crown, but we got another up and coming promoter that very well could be involved with this Triple Crown race, and that's TB Promotions' $250,000 race.
That's a fact. It's a fact, man.
I think that's going to be a staple from here going forward. I think that's going to be a race that's going to be. I think that for our generation, me and you, and maybe people 5-6 years younger than us, sure. I think that's going to be the new version of the OG Million, where they're going to say, man, I was at the first TB 250K. I think that race is one of the things that's going to stand the test of time. And it's going to be one of those things where it's going to have a big list of winners. And you're going to be like, that person winning that race gave him the ability to go on the streak that they went on and be able to go on the run they went on, because they had the money and they had the self-confidence that they could do it. And now they took off and did it. The most recent person to do that, I feel like, is Hunter Patton. Whenever Hunter Patton won that, I want to say one of the first spring fling races at Bristol, the first spring fling 500, Hunter went on a tear that I don't know if anybody's seen before, to be honest with you. He won everything. I want to say it was 2019 or 2020. Hunter won everything that there was to win.
Yep.
And it all started with that race.
Yep. I was about to say TB Promotions. Yeah, Drag Racer 5266. TB's got to be in there, man. And this is me being picky. I'm going to be honest with you. This is what this is about to be, Casey. And you and I have already kind of discussed this. But I feel like, man, in order to put him in the list, we've got to move that race out of Michigan, even though it has a really, really good, a really, really great attendance level. Man, if we switch to twin 50s in St. Louis to Michigan and pull that 250K down to St. Louis and put it in the middle of the country, oh Lord, man, you want to talk about attendance. That's where I feel like that race is going to be it's top 3, no question. If it's in,
well, they could.
Louis.
I agree, and they could get 700, 800 entries in that race. Now that's a capped event. That's
right.
another reason. That's another reason, though, is are these big races going to start going to capped events simply because of the participation rates?
It's possible, Casey, and I think it's hard whenever you got kind of a slider scale deal going on. Most of the time we watch Spring Fling Million, for example, it's got a if we get this many racers clause in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know about the Bristol. I think Bristol might just be straight up 500K, but I'm not 100% sure, so don't get me lying about that part. But I know that Spring Fling in Vegas is one of the races that says if I get, I think it's 600 and something entries, even the OG Million might even be that 600 and something entries and we'll pay $1 million. You know what I mean, Casey? So if it ever goes to a flat entry, then we won't see the word million behind it anymore. Do you agree to disagree? You know?
No, absolutely. I was actually just looking on. I was just looking on to try to figure out what the fling was as far as entry count, and I do not see a flyer up yet, so I can't tell you that right now.
Yep.
But
I feel like the Flings has a number, and so does the OG. It's just made that way. It's almost like a slider scale if you're in the barber business. But putting it all down to a capped event, that's going to change us up just a little bit on the names, not the prestige of the event. No chance. That's all I got. Yeah, the prestige of the event's going to remain the same no matter what. TB does a great job, and even if we talk about the race that's coming up at Bowling Green over there at Beach Bend, I think that's a 100K shootout itself. And I think I saw Champ's Performance has some type of Calcutta going on. Dang things up to about $5,000 to win. So I have to put me a driver in on that. You know what I mean? But there's just a lot coming out of TB Promotions that is going to put them in the mix of that, Casey. So we got some thinking to do, maybe a couple of posts to make to get the GBR community the thoughts on that. So
well, let's talk about this. So that's our top tier deal. We'll figure that out because I don't think that anybody's going to win all those anytime soon.
Correct.
So we got plenty of time to figure that out. Let's talk about what we're actually going to do, because this is something that not only is it obtainable, it's going to be voted on by you guys, the viewers, everybody out there. You're going to be able to put your votes in, and we're going to look through this list of stuff at the end of the year. And what it's going to be is we're going to go by nominations. So you nominate your buddy, nominate yourself. I don't care who it is. I don't care if you're a junior dice racer. I don't care if you're an NHRA racer. I don't care if you're a bracket racer. I don't care what you do. The fact of the matter is, at the end of the year, everybody nominates themselves or their buddies or whatever, whoever they think has the ability to win that. And it's going to be the 3 biggest things they've done this year. So it's going to be, let's say hypothetically, you won your track championship, you won a fling race, and you won, I don't know, what else you going to win? You won a Wally or something that year.
Sure.
So then we'll put that in the hat. It is what it is. I don't care if you win. For example, there's a local race out here for the foot breakers. It's $25 to enter, guaranteed money. Roger Rhodes Memorial race. It's a big deal out here. It's all about prestige and why you think your buddies should be able to win it or why you should be able to win it. But it's the three most important things that have happened in your bracket racing career in 2025. And we'll do it again in 2026. We'll do it in 2027. We're going to get a trophy made for everybody, and we're going to make it happen. We'll ship it out to you. You put that on your mantle. Hopefully one day it'll sit between those Wallies or big checks or whatever you hold close to your heart on your wall. And we're going to give that out to you guys. So we're going to get something made. So that's kind of what we're going with is a great thought. Kevin Oyd Little, he's been on this show too before. Very, very, very early guest on the Going Bracket Racing Live podcast. I remember I was still downstairs. I don't know what car I had at the time. I might have just got the Nova, honestly, at the time. I might have had that hardtail dragster. Yeah, I didn't have it yet. I had the Malibu before that.
Yeah.
I remember sitting there talking to him because I had my iPad propped up on a shelf in front of me and hoping that it didn't lose signal.
It's out in the garage, wouldn't you?
Yep.
So yeah, no, I really think that's a good idea. It's things like that help us out over here at GBR. You know, if you got some ideas that you want us to mill around or topics that you want us to talk about, goingbracketracing@gmail.com. And I'll say this too, if you got anything you want to get out to the community, maybe you've created the latest and greatest in the bracket racing sport, goingbracketracing@gmail.com. We will do our best to push out your product to the Going Bracket Racing community, the bracket racers, whatever you want to call us, you know. But definitely looking forward to these awards that we're going to start dropping out, Casey. Can't do it without you guys, so make sure when you see those posts come through, you share them, you like them, you comment on them, whatever you got to do to help us build this thing huge. So, Casey, man, we're coming up on that hour, which it always creeps up on us. What you got in closing?
Man, well, I was actually just over here on Google trying to search when Kevin Oyd was actually on here, if anybody wanted to go watch that episode.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find it, man. Google's starting to suck these days. They don't got their AI right, I guess. But I don't know. Anyway, back in the archives, way back. I mean, it might have been only double digits back then whenever Kevin Oyd was on. But good episode with him. You want to learn a little bit more about him, learn a little bit more about Team 14 and how he gets these wonderful thoughts to give out to the community. Then watch that episode with Kevin Oyd Little. But
and I see Troy keep in here. He's saying like Mikey Bloomfield winning 3 in a row. Yeah, man, something like that, you know. That's it's gonna be hard for anybody to be able to say they've done that. Probably.
Well, that's right, man. And
for a while.
And that's the thing is like that's not necessarily your 3 things you would even put down. If you nominated Mikey Bloomfield, you would say, man, he swept this weekend and he could runner up the OG million and he could win the Spring Fling million. And that could be his nomination. It's not necessarily just this one time he did really good. You know, because people go back to back all the time. People don't triple up, you know, ever really. I mean, ever.
Right.
It's very rare that people go back to back, but that's the type of thing, man. Like that'll be the type of thing that we'll go through and look at everything and we'll verify everything and we'll probably bring it to the community and say, hey, man, we're going to get everybody's vote and say we got these 5 people that we think are have the credentials, have done what they needed to do to be nominated, and then you guys can vote for it. You know, that's what we'll probably do because Casey and George aren't the people that are going to predict or give this award out. We might narrow it down and say these are the people we think should win it. You guys are going to pick that. You guys are going to give the award out because Going Bracket Racing, like George says all the time, this is a community. This isn't Casey and George's big show that we just want to be on here and feel important. This is something that we're doing for all of us to make Going Bracket Racing as a sport bigger and something that gets the notoriety that it deserves because everybody looks down on us all the time. They always have. It's always a step down. Well, guess what? If you want to go get rich racing, where's the only place that you can make that happen? You got to be incredibly lucky to make it happen, but you can make a lot more money right here than you can being a pro.
Hey,
So
well said, Casey. I don't have nothing to add to that, man, except for make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Going Bracket Racing, and we will probably see you guys next Tuesday. Hang in there. Peace out.